Hey, Jim.
Hey.
Hey, I see that you're getting ready for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I know, me too. It should be just a few more minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll get started, okay?
All right.
Cool. Anything you need?
I'm trying to warm up my voice.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking, maybe you can teach me some of your voicing skills?
Okay, all right. How about we do some character voices?
Yes.
Okay.
I would love that.
So let's start off with our Mickey Mouse. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So just repeat after me.
Ha ha. Ha ha.
Hey, that was good. That was great. Okay. Ha ha. Oh boy.
Ha ha. Oh boy.
Wow, that's amazing. I love it. Okay, that was good. All right, so let's move on to a little Scooby. Maybe a little Scooby.
Okay, like the lower register.
Yeah,
that would help warm it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost wanted to go Yoda on it. So little Scooby would be Raggy. Hey, wow. Okay, you're going to give me a run for my money here. Okay. Let's see, one more. Oh, what about Yogi Bear? Yogi Bear. Hey, boo-boo.
Hey, boo-boo.
Hey, boo-boo.
Hey, boo-boo.
All right. And one last one.
Picnic basket.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And one last one. We'll do Water Boy.
Okay.
All right. my mama said. My mama.
My mama.
My mama.
My mama.
My mama said.
My mama said.
My mama said it's time for light talk.
It's time to have some fun. Light talk with Sam Beman. We got skits and interviews. We got everything but the blues. It's on. Light talk is on. Light talk with Sam Beman.
Good evening and welcome to Light Talk. Man, that sounded so crazy. But hey, we're going to go with it. All right, I'm your host, as always, Sam Beman, and we've got a great show lined up for you, as we always have a great show lined up for you. Now, today, we're going to be dealing with, we're going to be talking about talent, okay? So, and I can't help but think of some of my own experiences of the past, of getting to a place where I was in a competition, or maybe I got somewhere, and something happened. Like, for instance, one time I was competing in a competition down in Orlando, Florida, and there was this one girl who she was competing in this Broadway musical category, and she had an amazing voice. And when I say amazing, I mean amazing voice. And she had everything. She was commanding the stage, and there were 6 judges. Keep in mind, there were 6 judges about 10 feet from the stage. This stage had those little lights all along the front of it, and they had an audience. It might have been like 100 or 200 people or so. All right, so we're watching, and we're on the edge of our seat, and we noticed that she kept getting closer and closer and closer to the edge of the stage, and we were like, this is amazing. Like, she's able to get that close to the stage, and then she fell. She actually fell right off the stage. And you know what happened? Everybody went, oh! But she got up, put her hand on the desk of those judges, and she kept singing. That's right. The show must go on. Afterwards, I had a chance to talk with her, and she said that she felt so bad because of what happened. But I said, no, actually what you did was amazing, because you showed everyone in the room that you could continue to keep going with your talent. And that's what people will remember. More than just the song, they'll remember how you handled the falling off of the stage. And for the rest of the week, all that people could talk about was that moment. Not because it was an embarrassment by any means, but that she kept going. She persevered. And that's what we have to do. So, with that in mind, today's guest is Jen Mosley, and we're going to check in with Gene Wagner, my agent. So stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Caller tune while waiting for the person you are calling to answer.
What you gonna do with your life?
Thank you for calling. hold while we connect your call.
They wanna have fun.
This is Hope. Can't come to the phone right now, but if you leave your name, number, and a short message, I'll call you back as soon as possible. Thanks and have a great day.
Hey, Hope. Hey, this is Sam. Hope. Hey, how are you? Hey, Hope. I just wanted to talk to you about a Hey, Hope. This is Sam. You probably know that. Hope. Hey, how are you? This is Sam. I just want to talk to you about something that I talked to you about that we talked about. Hey, Hope. This is Sam. I was just going to talk to you about the sky of... Hope. Hello there. This is Sam. Hope, guess what? We got Hugh Jackman coming on the show. That's right. Hugh Jackman's going to be on the show. He's going to be in the skit, the photo shoot skit. This is crazy. Think. What do I want to say?
Your message has been sent. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Oh, no. What did I do?
Have fun. Oh, girl, sister, what do you know? Got a missed call.
Oh, wait.
Hugh Jackman? He's gonna be coming here for a photo shoot. Oh my gosh, Hugh Jackman. We're talking Wolverine and the Greatest Showman and P.T. Barnum. Hugh Jackman. He is so awesome. I cannot. Oh my gosh, I gotta change my hair. I gotta change my clothes. I gotta get ready for this. Sam, I cannot believe you did this. This is so great.
Yeah, about that.
Uh-huh.
See, after I got off the phone, his people called back and, well, because of social distancing and a travel ban, he sends his thoughts, his love, his boomerangs, but not himself. I'm so sorry.
So what you're telling me is you told me he was coming and now he's not coming.
I know that you wanted him to be in this photo shoot skit, but you understand, don't you? I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do.
It's okay. You know what? Actually, there is something you can do. All right, come on, Hugh. Give me what you got. Ooh, nice. Claws out. Has anybody ever told you that you look like Sam Beman?
Are we good?
Let me see. Nope, we're good.
And we're back with my guest, Jen Mosley.
Hello.
Now, I wanted to make sure that that I said the right thing. So, Jen, not Jennifer. Now, is that one of those? Is that one of those things that happens? Like, because I know for me, I was Sammy, and then like I got to a point where
Well,
I
I
was like,
grew
just
up
call me
as
Sammy.
Jenny or Jen, and my soccer coach would call me Hennifer.
Really?
He was foreign.
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Can you relate to my opening story as an artist?
Definitely, I've had some awkward moments singing on stage at church, and I made the mistake.
Over at Rivertown Church.
Rivertown Church,
Yes.
yeah. I made the mistake of drinking an A&W root beer right before I was supposed to go on.
Oh, no.
And we were supposed to sing, I think it was like Reckless Love or something.
Oh, man.
And I had some major hiccups. Literally. Major, yeah. Oh, the overwhelming, never ending, reckless love of God. I was like, this is the Holy Spirit, y'all.
This is holy laughter, right?
This is, yeah. So I could definitely relate to
Wow.
some moments like that. That's just one. It's
Now,
okay.
now, of course, being on stage too, did you look out and notice anybody like, did they have a look on their face, or were they totally with you like, oh yeah, like were they trying to emulate what you were doing?
I asked a few people that were there, and I was like, did you hear me hiccup? And they were like, no. I was like, what, during what song? And I was like, it was like the most emotional, spiritual song we were singing at the moment. And I don't think they noticed, but I told them, I was like, yeah, I had some hiccups.
That's so funny. I'm always afraid, and just as an entertainer, as a comedian, and I sing as well in shows, but I try to be mindful, like before I go on stage, especially even in acting, like doing shows at the Springer Opera House. I would try not to eat or drink anything before I went on,
I
because
did
I was
learn my
so
lesson.
afraid.
No more A&W, no sodas right before service. Nope.
Well, you're the worship leader over at Rivertown Church.
Yes.
And you're also a singer-songwriter. And how long have you been doing this? I mean, well, writing songs and singing.
I think about maybe 15 years of like writing. I mean, I started writing songs 15 years ago, but they were like, really simple and, some of them were silly. I remember not the very first, but one of the very first songs that I remember, like actually sitting on my bed and playing through, is because I had a little wallpaper of the beach around my room.
Yeah.
And so I wrote my first song about sand castles. And
Okay.
yeah, so that was, I'm sure that's going to be a great song one day.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But-
Well, I can definitely relate. So how old were you around that time?
I
writing the Sandcastle song?
I started around 19.
19, okay.
Mm-hmm. I was deathly afraid of singing in front of anybody before that.
So how did you overcome that? Because there's probably somebody watching right now that is just as afraid as you used to be. Like, how did you overcome that hurdle?
I think the biggest thing that helped me overcome was the encouragement of other people. Just growing up, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and I always, had that self-doubt, and I would sing in my room all the time, and my parents knew that I sang, and my brothers knew that I sang, but nobody else, not even my best friend, knew that I sang. And so it surprised everybody when I finally, gained the courage I started playing guitar because my brothers were playing instruments then, and so I got interested in that, and started singing in my room, and then somebody whispered into somebody else's ear and told somebody about, hey, why don't you ask Jennifer to sing? And on the worship team at my home church back in Douglasville, and he came up to me that Sunday morning and asked me, like, he didn't really ask me, he told me, he said,
you're going to be singing.
You join the worship team, you. And so it was because before I would never just say, hey, I want to join the worship team. I'd never put myself out there. And so that was just to kind of getting my feet wet at first.
A lot of times
with
we
the
need
worship team.
that encouragement. We need that motivation.
Yes,
we need that
definitely.
extra push.
Oh yeah, and it felt like a push, like, okay, yes
Or a
sir,
kick.
yes sir, I'll show up for rehearsal, yes sir, and so I did, and I've been, playing and leading worship.
Playing, singing, leading, and writing. Writing.
The writing kind of came later,
Okay.
As far as, once I started realizing, like, maybe I can do something with this, like, because the songs just kept coming, and I have this big notebook full of, like, tons of songs, and I kept telling myself, like, I think there's something here, and I know God wouldn't want me to just leave it in the notebook and, keep it for myself. And so I actually started getting a little braver and just sharing some of them with some of my friends and family, and getting really good feedback. And so
And where we're at now with what's happened. So you've gotten this good feedback, and you've just had a song featured on Joy FM.
Yeah. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Did someone encourage you to do that? Like, hey, you need to go ahead and...
That would be my mom.
Okay.
My mom is definitely my biggest fan and super encouraging since day one. And you know, she called me up. She said, "Hey, they're doing this local artist spotlight on the Joy FM. You should submit some of your songs." And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not sure about that." And she was like, "Well, it doesn't hurt to try."
That's right.
And I mean, it really doesn't. And so I submitted it, and like I think the next day, the guy called me, Benji at the Joy,
I know Benji.
and said, "Hey, we'd like to feature you as one of our spotlight artists." So I was like shocked and excited at the same time and nervous at the same time, you know. So
I can only imagine. Wait, did I just use a song title? I'm so sorry. No, but I think that we need to let everybody hear this song. So do you mind if we show that clip from Top Cat Studios?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, let's definitely show them that, and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if anyone wants to. Can they go to your website or?
Yes, I just created a website because they were like, "Hey, do you have a website?" I said, "Well, all I had was a Facebook thing," and so I created one. It's jenmosleymusic.com, and it's JenMozley.com. And you can go there and you can listen to some of the albums that I've already released. And also there's a section where it says contact me. And so if you have any questions, feel free to email that address. So.
And that sounds good. Well, thank you, Jen, for being on the show. And we're going to show them this song.
All right.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
This is a song that I co-wrote with Brian Height. And it was produced, the track was produced by Justin Ballou at his studio, Bib City Sound. And so this is the unplugged version of Reveal Me. My vision has been blurred from the shadows of my past. I have covered with this mask, but you see underneath a little child you adore, and you are saying I am yours. Remind me who I am. Show me who I'm made to be. Reveal me, expose every lie, unveil my eyes, reveal me. I need you to lead the way. Help me with letting go, 'cause these wounds are hard to show. Remind me who I am. Show me who I'm made to be. Reveal me, reveal
So I love Christmas. But you know, my mom, she loves Christmas as well. She loves having myself and my two brothers to come and have Christmas at her house and to read us the Christmas story and the story of Jesus. Usually they don't get to the story of Jesus because they're usually out asleep by the time that she gets through with the first book. But then the next morning, she wants us to do that thing, and maybe you guys have done this before, where you put your hand on the shoulder of the person in front of you, and they walk you into the, does anybody ever do that? Like walk you into the room, all the kids? Okay, it's just my mom. Okay, great. That's great. Okay, this is just a Beman thing. Okay. So she would make us line up like a little train, and we would go into the living room, and she would not want us to open our eyes, and she would have the camera going, and then record our reactions when we got to see all of the presents. And I think that's totally understandable for a bunch of 30-year-old guys. I do. I mean, it teaches you discipline. And maturity. Hello.
That was a lot of fun with Jen. And now I want to check in with my agent, Jean Selig-Wenger. Did I say it right? I was trying.
That was close enough.
That's close enough? Oh, with Treasure Coast talent all the way out in LA.
Hey, Sam.
Hey! So guess what? On today's episode, I'm talking about talent because at the beginning of the episode, I basically shared a story about a competition that I had competed in Orlando, Florida, and it was for AMTC. And there was a person who basically fell off the stage while she was singing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she kept going.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yes.
a pro. That's a pro there.
That's right. That's right. And so I was sharing that earlier, how she kept going and she didn't stop. And I talked to her afterwards and she said that she was embarrassed. I said, no, that was amazing. What you did was amazing. You showed everybody that the show must go on. I mean, she didn't even skip a beat. It was one of the most beautiful, incredible things I'd ever seen.
Wow.
Where she fell off the stage and the judges were right. I mean, they were like about 10 feet from the stage. And when I say she fell off the stage and you couldn't see her, then she came back up and went on the next beat and just sold that next note.
That's amazing. I hope she got a standing ovation.
She did.
Oh,
She
good.
absolutely did.
She earned it for sure.
Yes, she did. Well, I wanted to check in with you because I know it's been a little while since we've seen each other.
That's true. Where was it the last time we saw each other? Was it
I want to say maybe
International Christian Film Festival or the one in Nashville?
I think it was the
Christian
one
Worldview?
a year ago in Orlando.
Wow.
I think that's where it was.
Yeah.
And that was such a, it was
right before I moved, and I knew at that time that I was going to be moving, but I couldn't say anything yet. So it was very strange knowing everything that was going on in my personal life with getting ready to put the house on the market. And I had been flying back and forth to California to look at houses, but it was like still top secret. It was a whirlwind weekend for sure. It was soon after that, I think it became official, and we knew for sure we were heading to the West Coast.
How has it been since the transition? I know you've been going, from coast to coast.
I was doing back and forth, trips back and forth from the East to the West Coast up until COVID-19. And then obviously that kind of shut down travel. But yeah, it was, there was my career, transition, but then there was also just transitioning my whole family here with my husband starting a new job, the kids getting settled in school. So it was kind of like a dual transition. There was a lot going on there. So I can't believe it's been 11 months. I mean, we moved here July 4th weekend, right in time for the first two earthquakes of July, the day that the moving truck came and then the day after, and we started going, what in the world do we do? But it's actually been, a really great transition. I'm very thankful. I love it here. I love our area. I love the schools that our kids were in. I love our church. Um, things are getting, I'm starting to really build relationships out here in the industry, which has been a blessing. Obviously, everything just kind of shut down with COVID-19, so that's been just different.
Yeah.
But it's been great.
And there's a lot that's been happening with TCT as well, Treasure Coast Talent.
Yeah, I'm now licensed in California.
Okay.
And I had thought about continuing with my Florida license, but I decided it would just make more sense for me to put all my time and energy into the California agency. So I decided not to renew my license, which was kind of hard. I was surprised by how emotional I felt about it, but that's where I kind of got my start in the industry. And but I decided not to renew it, and so now I'm licensed out here and just working on kind of the next steps that I need to do out here.
Well, I wanted to check in with you to basically, for the viewers that are watching right now, to kind of help understand what it means to have an agent, and should you just submit to any agency?
That's a good question.
Because and that's something that I feel like, and I've been down that road, where I've wanted to quickly submit, my headshots, my resume, my reel, and to anybody and everybody, and like, who's going to take me? Like who would take me? Who would take me? And then I just kind of, I put that on the shelf for a long time. And so it's been, for me, it's been, 20 years. I've been working a lot in theater, and then I, made my way up to commercial and TV and film. But for those that are watching that want to know, like, how to go about getting an agent, what should they do? What is the best thing for them?
Okay, great questions. I would just say, just because you want to be an actor doesn't mean you should just jump right in and get an agent. You need to make sure that you understand the industry, not only be well skilled and experienced as an actor, but also understand the business side of it. And because you can't expect your agent to handle everything. Agents partner with talents, but the talents need to really be well versed and understand the industry already themselves, and continue to be working on their own behalf, and not just kind of saying, well, I got an agent, now I can sit back. The agent's going to do all the work and I'm just going to reap all the benefits of it. It's definitely a partnership relationship. Also, I think it's very important to understand that there's different types of agents that focus on different areas. And what I've done over the few years since I've been in the industry is I've definitely evolved myself. Starting out as a manager, then becoming an agent in Florida, which was mainly a commercial area, but also realizing that where I was drawn and I felt called was more into the faith-based film world, inspirational, family-friendly film world, and that has become kind of my niche. And so every agent has their own niche. So make sure when you're submitting, you're not just doing blanket submissions to every agent in your region, because first of all, they'll be able to easily tell if you just submitted, to everybody, or if they really research you, and you'll be able to see it by what they put in their cover letter to you or in their original email. You'll know if they really know anything about you, or if you're just one of many submissions and they're not doing their research. And that tells you a lot about, the talent themselves. So I would say make sure you find an agent and only submit to those who work on the specific things that you want to work on. So if you want to be a commercial actor, look for somebody in your region that's very strong in commercial work. Or if you want to do voiceovers, or if you want to do TV and film, make sure you find an agent that works in the area that you feel best suited for. Now that I'm out here in LA, I'm going to continue to work on faith-based films nationwide, but I'm also going to be focusing on TV and films, general theatrical stuff out here in the LA market. So it'll be the network TV shows and the feature films and things like that. And those are my areas, and that's it. I've decided I need to really focus on those two things, not spread myself too thin. And there's enough other agents out there that focus on other things, that I don't need to be all things for all people. And I think there's more and more agents that are starting to do that, for sure.
Well, and I'd also like to add that with that in mind, to definitely be prepared too when you do meet with an agent. Like you said, to know something about the industry. When you mentioned, finding an agent for something specific,
Right.
I had approached an agent years ago that at a voiceover conference, and I just went up and said, "Here's my demo." And the good thing about him was he basically said, "Put that away. If you have not had a professional demo, then hold on to that, because the first thing or the worst thing you could do is to make a bad first impression."
Oh, yeah.
And
True.
that was some of the best advice that I could have ever been given, because it helped me. It was hard at the time,
Yeah.
but I had to go back home and hit square one and
Yeah.
go,
Regroup.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
regroup and go back in. Even when we talked, like I said, it had been many years since I'd even considered talking to an agent that was in film, TV, just because I didn't know if I even really had what it took at that point, because I had been down some roads where I just wasn't sure. But at the same time, because I knew so much about the industry, that I felt like I was better prepared.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's good. I mean, you learn, and that's the thing is when you get advice like that from people in the industry, how you respond to that advice really makes a difference. So you took that and you said, you know what, that is a good point. I'm going to learn from it rather than getting offended by it. And it's very important when you do get advice from people in the industry, take it, from the perspective, they're trying to be helpful. They're not trying to be mean. And if you can learn from the advice of people in the industry, I think that's very beneficial. Yeah, for sure. So I think that was the right choice.
well, and you've even given me some great advice with what you were saying earlier. Continue to do things even when you're not auditioning. Continue to work on your reel, or update your website. I mean, just take care of your Facebook page, whatever you're doing. But even producing some things, if you have writing chops or producing chops,
Your own content.
put your own
Yeah.
content. And that's when I put out the cheapskate zone.
Yeah.
Those.
That's so important. And along with that too, just networking. And networking isn't just about promoting what you're doing. It's about supporting what other people are doing.
Yes.
And sometimes actors tend to be very self-focused, and they're like, well, I need to put out stuff for people to look at me. And you need to always remember, if you're expecting people to support you, you need to be doing the same back. It's a mutually beneficial a situation. And so it's so important to continue networking, not always with what you can get from people, but what you can offer to others. And if everybody is in the industry doing that same thing, it's going to benefit everybody, and we're all going to grow and learn together. So, yep.
That sounds good to me. That's some great advice there, Gene. Well, I think that we're probably going to have to go ahead and take a break here. But is there anything else that you'd like to say right before we go to the break? Can they go check out the website, or?
Yeah, right now we have to update the website. We have a lot of new profiles that we need to add, but you can check us out on Facebook, and Trisha Goes Town on Facebook, Instagram, and then we're also on IMDb. And look forward to some exciting things to come, because we have a lot of fun things going on behind the scenes.
Hey, that sounds great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Gene.
Great to see you, Sam. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Well, first of all, I got these threads from the thrift store.
Everyone can relax. The old Joker is here. I got a new haircut.
Oh, why are you calling me little buddy? I mean, you've been doing this for over 20 years.
Oh, and I love my ring. I just wish I could fit it over my neck.
Ow, my booger! You can't get me!
Cleanliness is next to godliness. That's one of my favorite verses.
I've been trained by one of the best choreographers in the galaxy.
He is horrible.
Yeah.
You are horrible.
Well.
This music is horrible.
What is up with the music? Who hired this guy? Yeah, I definitely could have suggested a better DJ. One that's more smooth.
Well, it looks like it's time to go ahead and shut this episode down. It's been a lot of fun, though. Now, as I think about talent and starting out as a young man for myself as an actor, I really didn't know that I was an actor until my early 20s. And then I thought I wanted to pursue acting wholeheartedly. In fact, I poured myself into it to the point where I felt like I was going to Hollywood, and that's where I would be. And so I would be in every show that I could be in, from the Springer Opera House to the Human Experience Theater, and I really enjoyed it. It was theater all year long, and I loved to act. That's what I found out about myself, was that I loved to act. And in fact, when I first began, I did it for free. That's right, I didn't get paid anything. So I was in shock when I got my first paycheck for acting. I couldn't believe it. But see, the thing is, I had all of those years that I had poured into learning how to be a better actor. And I didn't get offended when someone told me that I didn't do a good job. Because like my agent said, I took that advice and I learned how I could be better as a performer, as an actor. Now it's 20 years later, actually probably 23 years later, and I'm still acting, not on a regular basis, but God has opened many doors for me to be able to do different projects, some that just come out of nowhere. But I'm continuing to work on my craft as much as I can. And maybe that's you out there. Maybe there's something that you really would love to do for a living. Maybe it's your passion. I just encourage you, continue to work at your craft. Don't give up. And like the young lady I talked about earlier in the program, persevere. The show must go on. I hope that you've had a great time on this episode of Light Talk. And be sure to check out my guests, Jen Mosley and Jean Selig Wagner. I'm Sam Beman, and you're watching Light Talk. Take care, and God bless.